for 2. Alright everybody, here we go. EGiNcontroL is going to be spawning here as the red Protoss in the 3 o'clock position. Over here in the 9 o'clock position, we have imbaStrelok from Team FXO spawning as the Aquamarine Terran.
The Aquamarine, indeed. Such a nice color. Strelok, such a good player. This guy was a beast back in Brood War. He did get back into StarCraft 2, but wasn't showing the best results, but it looks like he was just not practicing as much, and now he's gotten back into it. If I remember correctly, I saw a news post from him talking about how he's going to start practicing 7 hours a day. He's very committed right now, so I'm very excited to see how his playstyle has improved here. Meanwhile, his opponent incontrol, a player a lot of people are going to be familiar with, of course, did cast with you on Season 1 of NasL, but he's, I feel, a really a decision-based player. He really just, he thinks about everything he does, and he tries to outplay his opponent in that way. He probably, not to be, you know, downplaying him or anything, probably not as well known for his mechanics, but he just makes smart moves and goes for these really wacky strats that often can catch his opponents off guard, but he also has a pretty good standard game I see all the time on his streams, so it's really hard to play against a player like incontrol because you have so many options available that you have to worry about.
Definitely, definitely. And you know what? Going off of the styles a little bit, Strelok, I've known him from the StarCraft Brood War days. He's always a person that looked for timings, whether it be like timing defenses or timing attacks. He's always on top of, you know, just getting that, prioritizing the units over economy. We don't see him doing too much economy styles, but StarCraft 2 is a different game. He has switched over. I've seen him vary his style up quite a bit, and it makes her a very, very powerful player that can interchange between macro and aggression styles.
Wow, and look at this. Interestingly enough, Strelok forgoing that first Marine to actually get up the fastest tech lab possible there, did drop down the gas pretty early so he could have those 25 gas ready as soon as possible. Now what that means is that without the Marine, he's unable to deny the scouting for incontrol. So incontrol does see this with the probe. He sees, okay, wait a minute, tech lab first barracks, and I don't see a second barracks started just yet, so it's most likely going to be something like a 1-Rax Reaper or Marauder expansion. In this case, of course, Marauders. And interestingly, he does steal the second gas. So incontrol, very well known for doing this. He does it all the time, really likes to just limit the options available to his opponent and prevent them from going up to any higher tech place.
I think the biggest thing is that 1-1-1, he wants to make sure that 1-1 isn't applicable at all. It's such a strong build on any map, really, and you know what? It's just like, it makes for, I think, kind of lousy games to an extent. Sometimes it's really, really epic, but sometimes it can be really, really tough to watch. Nevertheless, he's just going to kill that Strelok with those 2 Marauders, bring that down, and meanwhile, he's actually taken his opponent's refinery.
Indeed he has. So, you know, gas steal on both sides. It is a little bit more annoying for the Protoss player as Strelok, I feel like he would probably just be going for this this quick expansion, has the command center on the way, so probably didn't even care about that second gas as much. Although incontrol was able to get some nice scouting information from it. He did see those 2 Marauders, so he knew it wasn't a Reaper expand, knew he wouldn't have to leave a Stalker at home to defend. But the second gas for incontrol is going to be much more damaging. You know, often as a Protoss player, you really want to get to those higher tech units, but oh my gosh, incontrol has thrown on 3 additional gateways here. Looks like he's gearing up for a pretty standard 4-gate to try to bust this 1-Rax expand from Strelok.
Yeah, we do see him at 22 probes, so he will be able to produce actually probes and off of these 4 gates simultaneously and slowly build his army composition. It might be because that 1 probe in the back of Strelok's base, it's sitting there, and it can make a pylon right there at any time.
Unfortunately, incontrol did send the probe around to the bottom area, and it walked just barely in vision range of that supply depot before he sent it back. So I think Strelok noticed that. He did send his Marauders back from the middle of the map immediately to go kill off that probe. So yes, Strelok did notice that. Very good job staying vigilant. It's hard to notice that tiny little dot that's only on your minimap for like 1 second. If he hadn't done that, he would have been experiencing a 4-gate coming straight into his base with that pylon. So great play by Strelok.
Reacting to that, we do see incontrol putting a forward pylon. Meanwhile, A lot of units have been mobilized, but this one bunker is going to come up. We do have an SEV, and it's making its way across over into the natural. Now seeing an expansion. This is a little bit weird. I'll get back to this expansion in a little bit, but this SEV is going to get in here. This is going to be so huge. There's nothing around. Now finally a Stalker and a Sentry over here on the right, or in the middle. And look at this. The SEV is going to go right around. No! Oh, and another gateway is going to go down. The 5th gateway. Oh my God, Strelok. He's going to, and he's in queue to see all 3 of them. No, he goes back. He's going to go. Strelok needs to see these 3 gateways. There's the 1, 2, and 3. 3 gateways spotted.
Everything.
Oh, that is a disaster. We can see already a second bunker is going up right now. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there's the 3rd one.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a 4th bunker just to stay completely safe, because he knows he's in a huge advantage if he just defends against this pressure.
Absolutely, and this 5 gate is somewhat all in. Not only did he scout out the 5 gateways, but also crucial is that he scouted the fact that incontrol still is not taking his second gas. That is so much information to have. That means incontrol is only going to have stalkers and zealots. He does have 1 sentry, but that's it. He won't be able to morph in anymore. He's so low on gas, and that means Strelok doesn't have to worry as much about force fields blocking off the repair. So he can get SCVs in position. He can put his bunkers right next to each other, whereas, of course, if you're going to deal with a lot of sentries, you would want your bunkers more spread out to use more force fields, but it's very smart of him to have them right next to each other like this so that these zealots, won't be able to get us around.
Yep, and here we go. Entering in right now. Zealots are going in front. Looks like Concussive Shell is done. Now the 4th bunker is done, and we can see targeting down that 1 bunker, but all the Zealots are taking heavy, heavy damage. Looks like the Stalkers are, they don't know what they want to do. Finally back up, and the Zealots will go down.
Ooh,
very minimal losses coming out from Strelok, and just decimating the Protoss force.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually pretty good darn timing from incontrol there. He actually hit literally like 10 seconds before +1 was about to finish for Strelok, as well as Stim. So he actually had some pretty good timings there, but it all came back down to the fact that Strelok had actually scouted that 5 gate on the way. If he hadn't seen that with that SCV, he only had 1 bunker in place. Instead, it went up to 4. With 4 bunkers, all full of infantry. I mean, there's not much short of Colossi or Immortals that's actually going to break that.
Absolutely. And you know what? The big thing that I want to get to before was the fact that that expansion was taken after the production facilities were taken. It's normally we see a fast expansion with a 1 gate expand and then going up to 4, 5, 6 gateways, but this way was a lot less inefficient. I think that resulted in a lot less units, and because of that, incontrol was failing pretty hard in that initial push.
Yeah, I think that all came down to the fact that incontrol was trying to take advantage of an opportunity he saw. He was like, okay, he hasn't seen my probe in his base, so I'm going to put down that pylon and 4 gate, and then, once he got the probe killed, he was like, okay, never mind, I can't 4 gate. He's got bunkers, of course. So I'm just going to expand. So I think that was the reason behind that. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and get ready to go take the 3rd there. He is taking out the destructible rocks right now, utilizing that army for anything he can. But of course, Strelok actually might be doing the same thing. He's going to go ahead and take that forward pylon down. Probably going to go ahead and take out the rocks. Nope, never mind. Just going to move forward, force some aggression, or not. Strelok just going to fake me out. Send 1 Marauder to take some map control, hold that center Zeldaka tower. But right now, incontrol, he has gotten himself up to 4 gas, which is great, but of course you have to remember that it's so much later than what you normally see. So what he's doing right now, getting charge and +1 armor, is fantastic. That's what you normally see from a Protoss player, but it's like 2 minutes later than you normally see, thanks to the such delayed gas that we have from incontrol going for that 5 gate.
Now a little bit of an interesting build coming in. Dark Shrine is going down for incontrol right now. Now I want to point out one main thing. It's going to be the supplies. We see the supplies are actually in favor of incontrol. It's very deceiving to ahead, even though he suffered those losses in the beginning. We can see in the income tab, they're basically the same amount of harvesters, and when you're at the same amount of harvesters, it's bad for the Protoss. Those mules really help out, give that extra little oomph, and Terran can start macroing a lot better. On top of that, where Strelok has taken his advantage is not only in his upgrades, but his tech and his economy. We see a 3rd command center coming out right now, and he's going to be looking to take that gold expansion right next to him.
Absolutely, he does have 1-1 already done as well. So like you said, with those upgrades, he has the advantage there as well. And of course, PvT, the upgrades matter so very much. Those Marines are attacking very quickly, so their attack upgrades are going to make a huge difference. The armor upgrades, of course, for Protoss are going to make a huge difference as well. So incontrol is continuing to get +2 armor right now, and he's starting to get that robotics facility and a 2nd forge. But I don't know if how this time is going to work out for him, Andre, because that 2nd forge clearly not going to be done in time if Strelok goes for an attack pretty soon. And he does actually have a Ghost Academy finishing right now. So he will have Ghost Tech out pretty soon, and it seems like the strategy incontrol is utilizing right now is going to be relying pretty darn heavily upon sentries and DTs, both of which get pretty hard countered by Ghost. But the DTs in the top, oh my god, it looks like Strelok actually spotted them moving by. He saw that blur but didn't have the energy available to scan, so he's going to go ahead and move his army over to defend that third and is going to set up that turret. So unfortunately, incontrol showing those DTs, and now Strelok is going to be completely defended.
You know, it's crazy. It was just a small, tiny little blur on the... You know, it wasn't even on the mini-map, right? It was just on the map, and all of a sudden Strelok instantaneously calls that, sees what's going on, puts up the turrets, and he's going to be absolutely fine there. That one Dark Templar goes. 2 Dark Templars taking out the Disruptor Rocks on the top. I like this, just opening up the options. But for now, incontrol is going to have to stay very, very passive. I don't think he has the capabilities of really pressing on any aggression to his opponent. We can see a Warp Prism in the top middle. Look at that. Holy crap, 4 DTs coming up there.
Oh, man. I like this play. Utilizing this Warp Prism is a great idea. He needs to do something to get back into this game. Definitely, but I feel like the fact that he sent the DTs over towards the third and has the Warp Prism up there as well seems like a bit redundant. Perhaps if he had sent the Warp Prism down on the bottom of the map, where we see a medevac actually going for a drop, if he had sent it down there and gone for a drop in the main, where Strelok actually doesn't have any turrets set up, I feel like it would have been a much better use of that Warp Prism as opposed to sending it into the natural or third, where you know, it doesn't get him much of an advantage to have them in the Warp Prism when you could have just walked them in there in the first place. But hold that thought, it looks like Strelok is going to come forward for a huge attack right now. He does have 2 Ghosts with enough energy to EMP, so it's going to be very scary for incontrol to deal with. Oh my god, his entire army is in one clump. Oh no, he's going to get the whole army EMP'd, and the EMP goes off. Every sentry getting EMP'd, including every Zealot and Stalker. That was terrible for incontrol.
Force shields are going to go up, but it's not going to be enough. All the units are going to be swinging around. Meanwhile, there are Dark Templars in the gold expansion, but it looks like all of Strelok's units are bearing down on the natural. It's too much. There are no units. GG comes out from incontrol, and Strelok's going to take game number 1.